Hello and welcome to YourTown television program. I'm your host, Paula Joy MacNab. And my segment this time is, again, one of my guests I've had the privilege of speaking with a few years ago. I should get these years straight, how long it's been. But Michael Martinez is an amazing, amazing young man. He's a solo pianist and has a great story. He's very inspiring. His music is transporting, and I'm delighted to have him with us today. Welcome to the program, Michael.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. I know you have a very busy schedule.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. That is a very good thing. So just as I was saying earlier, everybody knows you, but for the one person who doesn't know you, tell us just a little bit about your background and who you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm born and raised here on the Monterey Peninsula.
You're local.
And I've been playing piano here since I was 11. And I was mainly inspired by my mentor, Jonathan Lee. He was, a popular New Age pianist back in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And I got to...
Now, was he local as well, Michael?
He was local, yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. So through him, he introduced me to his fans in the area. And so through that... for a person who doesn't know me, if they're familiar with the New Age piano style, like of George Winston,
of course,
Jonathan Lee was kind of in that veins of style, so one could relate to that music, and yeah.
Now, so you started playing when you were 11. Now that's pretty young to be playing piano and with some serious intent. Is that right?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Is there music in your family? Was it?
It was suggested by my elementary school teacher. She said Michael should take some piano lessons to improve his math scores. And that's how it all began.
Oh, I love it. Is that right?
It didn't help my math one bit. But
now, why did she think, this is fascinating, why did she think it was going to help your math scores?
I had no idea. Well, some people suggest that music and math, they go together, like there's many relations. I can never find that relation.
You still can't to this day? Oh, all right. Well, that's a good theory, isn't it?
But that's how I got started. I took piano lessons, and...
now, did you have a piano at home?
A small little electronic keyboard.
Okay.
My mom used to fool around on the keyboard a little bit, play one note at a time.
Okay.
And I would just have fun with it, basically, when I was a little kid, but nothing serious. But when I started taking piano lessons, I started getting into it. My dad,
so did you like it, or were you one of these kids that your parents are always going, go practice your piano?
Well, I kind of fell into it. I started picking out melodies by ear.
And
then I
you're
was
one
like,
of those.
oh, I could go to the piano and play the melody, and that really excited me.
No kidding.
And then once my parents saw I had some kind of talent, my dad got me a big, full electronic piano, 88 keys, and I really liked it. And then I started playing by ear the demo songs that were on it. So I would press the button, and you were able to isolate the left hand and the right hand. So I would listen to it and memorize it and play it back.
Really?
And that just excited me so much. That was the first joy right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Is being able to figure it out and play it.
So what do you think is the difference between someone who can hear and play by ear and someone who just doesn't get it?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I think every person is capable of playing music. I think the thing that differentiates a person from one who plays and one who doesn't, I think it's just the passion and the love for it. Like, I really had a drive to really figure out these melodies.
Well, it sounds like you had success early on.
Yeah.
So that when you were being successful, then you could go on and say, this feels good. I want to build on this and keep going.
To whereas maybe another person, maybe they got discouraged too easily, or it didn't seem like it was the right fit for them. That's how people, maybe it's not for them.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So roll the clock forward. So you started playing at 11, then you were inspired by Jonathan Lee.
Yes.
So go on from there.
So I met Jonathan when I was about 13, and I had already started composing a little bit of my own music. And my mom turned me on to Jonathan Lee's music because my mom owned a store in Monterey at the plaza there.
What was the store?
It was the Country Touch store.
Okay.
She had it for 11 years. And Jonathan Lee walked into her store, and brought a sampler CD. And she fell in love with Jonathan's music. So she had all 10 of his CDs, and she says, you know, you might really like Jonathan Lee. And so she put the music on, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, wow, this is the music.
So you really resonated to that.
And then from there on, I just basically copied as much as I could of his music. And that's where I got my technique and my style and the feel for it, by just zoning in on who Jonathan Lee was and what his music was.
Now, was there ever a temptation, Michael, to go more in the I want to be a rock star direction? Like, you know, that's a lot of attraction in that arena.
It was very interesting. You know, when I started listening to music, the first CD I think I ever listened to was Janis Joplin.
Okay.
And I was really into it. I was like 5 or 6 years old, and you know, most of my music education took in the place in the back seat of my parents' van. I had a CD player, and I had all these CDs, and I would just listen and listen and listen to all types of music. Liberace was a favorite of mine.
Really?
You know, music from the 50s, you know, all this stuff, classical, just a wide range of it. And I was able to fall in love with each aspect of the style of music. And that just really lit me up.
That's key. Yes.
I found the beauty in every style, and Jonathan's was one of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So tell me, you're also doing, you're the musical director for the Center for Spiritual Awakening. So what is that connection?
Well, I was called by my friend Bob Phillips. He's a wonderful piano player in the area, and he wanted me to take over the position as music director at the center there. He called me in. He says, Michael, I think you would be a perfect fit for this position. And they interviewed me, and it really clicked. I really liked the teaching of the church.
Yes.
And I think I just had one interview, and then they put me on for the rest of the month, and it was a perfect fit. I really enjoyed it. You know, with the teachings there, it's just, you know, science of mind, using your mind correctly, very practical, down-to-earth things that you need to do to live life and do it correctly. And those teachings really resonated with me. And so from there on, my music evolved, and I also evolved.
Oh, I could imagine.
You know, mentally, emotionally. Like, I don't know where I would be if I never went to the center.
Now, how long has that been, Michael?
It's been about 4 years.
Has it really? Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Interesting. Yeah. So in terms of your composing, I'm always intrigued. I'm a designer, and I see color, and I see what doesn't exist. So my brain functions that way, and I don't get that other people don't get that, but I'm being facetious. But in music, that's not a gift that I have. So in your composing, I'm always fascinated by someone who can create a piece of music. How does that come to you?
It's very interesting. When I was about 12 or 13 years old, I was playing with my cousin in the park and just playing on the swings and stuff. And there was this really distinct moment to where I heard music in my head, and it had to come out. Like, I heard these 3 chords. And I was probably playing piano for like a year or two, so I knew what was in my head, and I could try to get it out on piano. So it was a very distinct feeling. It was just very mysterious, very intense, very joyful. It's like, wow, I really feel this this melody. So I after playing with my cousin, I went to a piano store around the corner, and I just started playing the chords, and it excited me so much, just that burst. And then later on, it became like one of my first real compositions. And later that night, I composed the melody and everything. It was just so natural. It's really hard to explain. It's like something, a seed plants and then it blossoms all of a sudden. I don't know where it comes from. It's just a really a spontaneous thing that happens for me when I'm composing. Sometimes it could be the exact opposite, but I've realized when the music comes like that, the song is really good. And I do not know when that's going to happen.
Right.
I have no control over it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's that magical moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for people who can't read music, Because I know a lot of people sing and don't know how to read music. What is that magic of, quote, reading music or not reading music? What's the distinction there?
Well, just reading music will allow you to take more performance opportunities, to play with more people. I've never been a person to read music very well. I'm still a slow reader. I'm very basic. But if I needed to rehearse for a couple of weeks and get music down, I could do it.
Right.
But it just gives you the facility to quickly, play with other people. I know Jonathan Lee did not read music at all.
And many great musicians don't.
Yes, they
which
don't.
astonishes me and delights me in a way.
Yeah, it's a very academic thing. You really have to be persistent in it, like practice sight reading every day. And it takes a little while. Some are quicker than others at it.
So if you're going to do, say you're going to do a piece and touch on your wonderful Big Sur Marathon, what you do, this is so magical. Describe what you do for the Big Sur Marathon.
Well, I'm at mile 13, which is the halfway mark.
Yes.
They put a grand piano, a Yamaha 9-foot concert grand, right on the turnout to Bixby Bridge. And I'm there at 6 a.m.
Oh, my.
And there's piano technicians that bring the piano in a truck and assemble it and tune it. And first runner comes around like 8:30, and that's when I start playing. And
so what do you play? What do you play for that first runner?
The first runner doesn't even look at me. They're so focused. They could care less what's going on. They're just straight ahead.
Yeah, good point.
So I just start warming up. I start getting in the mood. And about a half an hour in, a majority of all the runners are coming by, hundreds of them at a time. And that's when I'm playing Chariots of Fire and really reading their energy and getting them going. And, I like to match the high energy songs with, the majestic songs, like playing the theme song Out of Africa. Like there's, a song could be a moment for a person that in their lifetime. So I try to play as much material as I can to hit as many people with a certain song that they could relate to.
That's exciting.
So some people just break down in tears. They're like, wow, that's my favorite song. And just the emotion of just running 13 miles all the way up the hill in the Hurricane Point and then descending down. It could be really emotional for a lot of people.
I think it probably is. And the music creates the moment a moment that probably lasts them for the lifetime.
It does.
Of that experience, of that physicality, of what they've put into it, and then to come around that corner, cross that iconic bridge, and hear your music. Wow.
It's a marathon moment.
It's a marathon moment. How did that get started? I've always wondered about that.
I believe the race director, Bill Burley, had the idea to put music out in the marathon. And Jonathan Lee I think he did it the first year, and they put a small upright piano by the Highlands Inn on the turn.
Oh, yes, okay.
So
now we've gone to the Baby Grand at Bixby.
Yes.
So tell us about an album. Have you got an album coming up?
I have an upcoming album, and I'm not sure when it's going to get done. I think in 2 months I will have all the material ready to play, ready to go to a studio and record. It might take another 2 months to get the physical album out, but I'm really close. It's going to be 10 songs. They're going to be all my originals, and some of these songs are, I think I had the first one I ever composed, that's on there.
Yes.
And all the way up to a lot of new material, and it's just, I poured all my heart and soul into it. There's some beautiful songs, some beautiful melodies, and I'm just eager to get it out there for people to listen to.
To birth that. Yeah. What's the process of creating an album? That must be really powerful.
Yeah, for me, it's the theme. What I'm going through in my life. For this album, it's a lot of heart energy. I'm playing these beautiful melodies, and it just perfectly aligns with who I am as a person. It just lines up. And then, maybe my next album, I'm kind of feeling, maybe something that has to do with nature, something along those lines. So it kind of goes with the theme, you know? Of the past couple years of my life, what I've been feeling. So
this is very politically incorrect, but do you mind me asking how old you are?
I'm 27.
You're 27. Wow, interesting. So what do you see ahead of you? What do you see when you look a year, 5 years, 10 years into the future?
Well, I could see myself doing the same thing, working steady, not pushing myself too hard. I think, releasing albums and composing and getting better at my craft. I think it's just going to be a good long journey, but definitely releasing more CDs is going to be something I'm going to be focusing on.
Is the releasing of the CDs, is that what makes a success for a musician? What makes it a success to be a musician?
It depends on the genre. See, in the solo piano world, the more albums and content you have, it spreads. It just everything rolls. It gets bigger and bigger. So just getting the music out there. I've submitted my music to Pandora. It's been on there for 2 years now.
Excellent.
So the more material you have, the more chance you have people listening to it.
Right.
Yeah.
So was that a difficult process to get accepted onto Pandora? I think that's huge.
Yeah, I just submitted.
That's impressive.
I submitted my CD and I didn't think anything of it, and then a couple months later they said they accepted the music. So just like that, I probably got pretty lucky.
Well, I think it speaks highly of your talent too. So if someone goes on to Pandora and types in your name,
Michael Martinez Radio. That's it.
Michael Martinez Radio.
They could just, they call it the create your own station, but if you just type in my first and last name, you could find it really easily.
So you've got enough content now that you can have your, oh my goodness, guess what I'm going to do when I go home? It's going to be Michael Martinez Radio. How great is that? So Michael, before I run out of time because I get so excited, how can people reach you and find out what you're doing?
Yes, you could go to my website, which is michaelmartinezmusic.com.
Perfect.
And there you will find all the videos, my bio, my latest projects. So you could go there and you could sign up on the email list. And then also I highly recommend going to YouTube. I have a lot of videos there. Have all my album songs, so if you want to listen to them over and over again, you could go there.
Oh, great.
But yeah, YouTube is the place you could go just really quickly to hear the music.
That is great. Well, Michael, what a treat to see you again. I'm always happy to see you and hear your beautiful music. Thank you for being our guest today on YourTown. Oh, what a treat. And thank you for joining us. What an inspiring man he is. His music is just fantastic. So go to YouTube and check him out.